Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm back at the Meriden Mall in Meriden, Connecticut. And yes, the mall is open despite what it looks like. The last time I was here was back in November of 2023, so it's been just over a year since I was last here. And when I was here last year, the mall wasn't looking great, but it didn't look terrible to me. You know, in comparison to, say, Crystal Mall and Enfield Square Mall in Connecticut, it wasn't looking all that bad. But I am shocked as to how fast this mall has gone downhill since then. There have been a ton of store closures, and there's actually quite a few more that are apparently coming up in the near future. So come along with me and let's take a look around. This was filmed on a Monday very recently at about 12:30 p.m. And as you can see, it was just after a tiny little snowstorm, so that might account for why there's so few people here, but it also might be because there's barely any stores open. On the left, that used to be Dick's, and that was open when I was here last time. Apparently that closed in April of this year. I always love looking at these store directories in these dead malls because they're pretty much useless at this point, as most of the stores listed on there are no longer here. Coming up on the left here is TJ Maxx, and apparently this is scheduled to close in the very near future. From what I read, it sounds like either the end of this year or very early in 2025. And from what I can tell, this TJ Maxx and probably Boscov's are the two stores that are bringing in the most customers. So when this store closes, that's going to be a major hit to the mall. And to be honest with you, once the TJ Maxx closes, and there's a few other stores, like I said, that are scheduled to close, once they're gone, there will be really no reason to keep this mall open, in my opinion. This used to be the Best Buy, and it closed in 2021. Now, as this is an update video, I'm not going to do a full history on the mall. If you want that, I would definitely suggest watching my video from November 2023. But just a real quick overview on this mall's history. The mall opened in 1971 and was originally called Meriden Square Mall. It was built and originally owned by the May Department Stores Company, and the original anchor stores were G. Fox and J.C. Penney. The mall was then sold to Westfield Group in 1996 and was renamed Westfield Shoppingtown Meriden. The mall was then sold to Namdar in 2020, and they still own it to this day. Coincidentally, it was also around 2020 that this mall really started to go downhill. Now, don't get me wrong, this mall, like most malls, was already in decline before 2020, but the vast majority of the store closures have occurred since 2020. This is the escalator that goes up to the top level of the parking garage, and this was open the last time I was here, and here's what it looks like from the top of the escalator. That pickleball court on the left was not open the last time I was here in 2023. According to the signs, this Rainbow store is closing soon too. On the right where the black wall is, back in November 2023, there was a sign saying "Coming soon, the 78 Dance Company." I'm not sure if they never opened or if they did open and then they just have since closed. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. And then on the left, this used to be Charlotte Russe, and they've also closed since the last time I was here. I'm not sure what used to be in here on the left, but I think it was open the last time I was here. I checked my video, though, from 2023, and I didn't get a good glimpse of it, so I'm not sure what was actually in there. On the right was Forever 21. They were also open the last time I was here. They closed in March of 2024. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall and store walkthrough videos coming up. Thanks. So at this point, we're not even a quarter of the way through the mall, and I would say it's very clear that this mall is on its last legs. I would be shocked if this mall was still open a year from now. It could be, but I just can't imagine that happening. So, like with the Crystal Mall, this is probably going to be its last Christmas season. At the end of this hallway is where Macys used to be. The Macys closed in 2020, and before that it was the location of the original anchor store G. Fox. which was here until 1993 when it became Filene's, and then the Filene's became the Macys in 2006. According to a few newspaper articles from 2021 and also the directories here at the mall, this is going to be the future location of a Yale New Haven health facility. But I checked online and I don't see any articles since 2021 giving any updates on that. And now, we're almost in 2025, so I don't know if that's still going to happen. If it does happen, though, apparently they were going to tear down the entire building and start fresh. I'm also just noticing that directory still says Westfield on it. And again, they haven't owned this mall since 2020, almost 5 years ago. On the right, this used to be H&M. They closed back in 2020. That vacant store on the left was also open the last time I was here. I checked my video and I couldn't read the name of the store though. But it was definitely open, and there was actually a sign out in front of it last time saying grand opening. So they didn't last very long. And this hairdresser Zeta is also closed over the last year or so. Also, just to clarify, a lot of the stores in here that have closed did not actually go out of business. Some of them did, but a lot of them have just moved to other locations. This store on the left has been closed for a while, so I'm not sure what used to be in there. However, this business on the left with the lamps out front was open the last time. This used to be a tattoo parlor called Bloodlines. And yes, this mall amazingly still has an FYE, which is closing in the very near future, sadly. But stay tuned towards the end of the video because I did do a quick walkthrough of that FYE as well. Straight ahead, this is where Sears was located up until 2018. Here's the food court, and it's obviously not doing very well. There's only one restaurant left, that Charlie's Philly Steaks. Back in November 2023, there was a Tokyo Express here on the left that was still open, and then there was a Cajun Cafe on the right just after the Charlie's. So, needless to say, this is not a good sign. Cajun Cafe used to be here on the left. For some reason, one of the last businesses to close at a dead mall seems to be the pretzel place. Doesn't matter what brand it is, but if they sell pretzels, they seem to stay open. I also used to say that Bath & Body Works was one of the last stores to close at a dead mall, but I've been seeing a lot of Bath & Body Works closing recently. On the left, that used to be a Journeys at one point. Not sure when they closed. And then these stores on the left, I think, were Victoria's Secret and Pink. I forget which one was which, but they've been closed for a while. There's Santa just chilling with one of his elves. On the left, that used to be Champ Sports, and that's also closed within the last year or so. And here's Petrillo's Fairs and Festivals. This also apparently has moved to another location fairly recently. And then at the end of the hallway here, this is where the other original anchor store, JCPenney, was located up until 2014, and then the Boscovs moved in 2015. I've also heard a rumor that the Boscovs might be closing off their mall entrances at some point in 2025, but I'm not sure if or when that's actually going to happen. It would make sense, though, because I can't imagine they get too many shoppers coming in from the mall itself. Alright, so now let's take a ride on the elevator down to the first floor. This vacant store here used to be Romani Clothiers, and they also closed earlier in 2024. This was the first floor of the old Macys. A lot of the vacant stores at this mall have sheets up so you can't see inside. This is one of the rare exceptions. And this used to be an Eblin's. Last time I was here, it still had the Eblin sign up, but it was out of business. But based on those weights in there, I would say at some point in between that must have been a gym. These stores on the right have also been closed for quite a while. Santa's finally in his chair, but I don't see any kids lined up to see him. This used to be a Foot Locker, and this was also open last time I was here. There's Santa. And yes, I did wave back, you just can't see it on the video. And here's even more businesses that have closed since the last time I was here. This red store used to be Ben & Jerry's, and the one after it, that used to be the Wow Arcade. Yet the mall is somehow still able to support 2 pretzel stores. And then on the right, the Claire's has also closed since 2023. On the right, this used to be Zumiez, and this also closed fairly recently. Once again, it's really shocking to me how many stores have closed in the period of 1 year. I also read recently that this Finish Line is going to be closing in the near future too. Now let's take a quick walk through this FYE because this store is closing. I think I read that it's going to be closing by the end of the year, so you've probably got about 2 weeks left at this point, up until the end of 2024. But I'm not sure exactly what date it's going to close, so it could close before that or possibly after that. But they did seem to have quite a few good deals in here. A lot of it was 20 to 30% off. Some of it's supposedly up to 50% off, but I didn't see too much stuff that was 50% off. So basically, if you're local and you want to see this FYE, time is running out. Come on out now. However, just like the FYE at the Crystal Mall, I do think that their pricing on used Blu-rays and DVDs is a bit high. This is $12.99 for a used Blu-ray, which, again, I can find those at flea markets and Goodwill all day long for between $2 to $5 max. Even after the 30% discount, that's still $9 for a used Blu-ray, which I think is still too high. I just checked on Amazon, and you can get that same Blu-ray brand new for $12.13. So if you are looking for deals on movies and CDs, this probably isn't going to be your best bet. But again, they do have some great deals in other sections, and I really love stores like this because honestly they bring back memories of the 90s when I used to shop at Suncoast, I don't think FYE was around in the 90s, or at least not in this area, I don't think. I remember there was Sam Goody, which I think FYE might have bought out the Sam Goody locations. I could be wrong there. So this is very much the type of store I would have shopped at a lot back in the mid to late 90s. And once this FYE closes, and once the other FYEs close, which I think most of them are closing, the only other store like this in my area, I believe, would be Newbury Comics. At least that's the only one that comes to my mind.
Yeah. He's probably going to repose it regardless.
This Ultimate Pinhead figure is kind of cool. Too bad his head fell off. Guess he needs a couple more pins. They've also got a lot of Star Wars stuff, and I collected a lot of Star Wars figures, mostly back in the 90s, and I've been out of it since then as far as new figures. But tell me, when was it that Star Wars action figures started costing over $20 each? That is crazy. I remember, I think they were between $5 and $7 back in the 90s, I think. Anyhow, there's the FYE at the Meriden Mall. And again, it's closing in the very near future. Straight ahead, that's the lower level of the old Sears. On the left, this place called Studio Brow. I think that also closed fairly recently because it was open when I was here back in 2023. So if anybody's been keeping track of the number of stores that have closed since, November of 2023, let me know in the comments. So that's the inside of the mall, but don't go anywhere yet. Next we're going to do a drive around the mall and we can see what it looks like from the outside. And how is this Ruby Tuesdays still open? Don't get me wrong, I love Ruby Tuesdays, but most of the ones I used to go to are long gone. They really did not do a great job plowing this parking lot. Some of it's okay, like right here, but other parts are pretty much completely unplowed, and it made for some pretty dicey driving at some points. Here's the old Best Buy. This is where Macys was located, and so far I don't see any indication of Yale New Haven Health doing any demolition or construction here. So I would be very surprised if Yale New Haven Health is still going to put in a facility here. Here's the old Sears building. And I'm surprised they still have the Sears sign up. It's a little bit sad, though, that the sign is damaged like that, though. And here's the Boscov's, which was originally the JCPenney. Alright, so now let's do a wide-angle shot of the parking lot, and you can see how empty this place is, with a few exceptions. So the parking lot in front of Boscov's is pretty full, and also in front of TJ Maxx, but the rest of it is a ghost town. And again, if the TJ Maxx is closing in the near future, it's really just going to be Boscov's bringing any business in here. And once that happens, plus all those other stores that are closing, I just can't imagine them keeping the mall itself open. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. The upper part of the parking garage is closed. I'm not sure how long that's been closed, though. I think the last time I was here, it was at least partially open, because I did see a car parked up there in my last video. And then this is where I entered the mall, and if you didn't know better, you would pretty much assume the mall is either closed for the day or just completely out of business. And I think this also shows how much business TJ Maxx and Boscov's bring to the mall, because everybody's parked in front of those stores for the most part. And there you have it. That was my 2024 update to the Meriden Mall in Meriden, Connecticut. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and, of course, flea markets. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.